I'll come back on site to talk about Art Noin and the passion and the thought that went into that event and explain it. It was about putting cars in locations and spacing them apart with great architecture so that people could be a part of it and have a great community event. And I've been searching for locations and it had been difficult, but I came down to Port Melbourne one Thursday morning and all of a sudden when I turned the corner behind me, I reviewed all of this and I thought, this is where we are going to do Art Noin 1.
Don't know what it is about you, babe. Every time you come around my way, hey, I know everything will be okay. Like it's a better day when I'm spending it with you. Waking on the right side of the bed if it's you on the other, yeah, yeah. What do I gotta do to make you stay? Just another day, cause I'm a better man with you. Everything's better when you're near me. Weather's not as dreary, sky's looking blue.
But we did start here. We were trying to be very bold, and against these two glass brick pieces we had Fioroli's car. So again, this is just bringing the imagination to life, and it really set the scene. But straight away this car was pinging the audience, and we moved across to here and we had the 4 race cars. Up the end we had Momo vehicle here. Josh put all the livery back onto his car, Cameron did his, and then we had also Mike's car here. And so just standing right back here, there's a couple of really wonderful big wide shots of the cars, but they just look so cool, you know, with a bit of grass in the foreground. Looks fantastic, doesn't it? So that's all the shots that were here, but I did love the setting of these race cars. It was very colourful, and these cars get a bit banged up and stuff, and this is not all about the most expensive and the cleanest. You know, these cars to me were nice and gritty and represented that. We get to the corner here, and when I saw this little garden bed, I was always like, oh, we'll do something fun here. And I had met Glenn. He was one of the first people I spoke to about whether he'd want to be involved. And he's parked his 924 Safari up here, and he's loaded it up with Christmas presents. And he's the only bloke who stood in front of his car. He went out and got his car deliberately dirty, which was great. And when I said, hey, can you get some presents? He just took care of it. So here we had on the corner, beautiful clean silver 911. From back here, there are some photos, and you can see some of the roof line as well, which is really cool, the two of them. But one of my favourite shots is this one, which is all these people, iPhone, 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 and they're all got their back to these spectacular cars, and they're looking over there, and they're looking at this car, which is the IROC. And the whole background over there has changed as well. But I just love the way that there was people going, oh yeah, great cars, but I'm going to look that way and photograph this with my iPhone. So we'll go around the corner. We know we had the yellow Spider here, and then behind it was the GT2 RS, the oak green metallic. And there is a piece of video shot from about where I'm standing, and it looks at this couple, and you're looking at it right now, I'm showing it to you right now, and this couple just loving that car, like loving that car. They walk back and across and look at it and look away, and they pull out their cameras and their iPhones. It's on the website, it's been there since the day after the event. Probably the favourite shot, and a lot of love for that car, rightly so. But it just stood on this wall with the Spider owning themselves. And then on the opposite wall here, against that rusty wall were these guys. So this ice cream metallic and the copper going nose to nose against this background. And when the sun came up, you could take shots on the other side of these cars looking this way, and they were bright, they were just pinging like crazy. And what I love about that, that's a nice long shot, and there's plenty of footage, you know, going the other way as well, but they just face off so nicely, and they've got the space, you know, they've got that whole environment to themselves. And that's what, you know, what a lot of Art Noin was about, giving cars all this space. At this same location, other people who were doing, you know, photography with their DSLRs and getting down and changing angles, so going to a lot of trouble to get the right shot. But then at the same time, straight away, you know, here's a guy standing with his foot up against the wall, taking photos this way with his iPhone, and that's okay. It's whatever suits and however they come. Dale, we're watching you, mate. As they were going in, there's a couple of lovely moments going on here, but in particular, a bit further up, as Ari's waiting to go in, somebody snapped a shot of him giving a thumbs up in the mirror there. So he's right behind Nichols' car, I think, and then here he is in his own Mexico Blue 968, and this lovely shot here, which for me is great attention to detail. I love the way somebody's picked out that particular bit. So this is where the oak green metallic car was with that couple I was talking about. Here Michael had his blue 991 Touring, and we put it here against the yellow deliberately. But from back here, there were these two guys, I don't know if anybody noticed them, but they were in wheelchairs and they had little GoPros set up and they were racing. So right now there was this shot we got from back here, and one comes around this side, one now they were only rolling through. One of them looks like he's got green Fuchs on his wheelchair, but I just saw those guys and thought how inclusive it was. You've got people that, you know, talked earlier about families and kids, and there's two guys in wheelchair, car fans, coming through, enjoying it. Late in the scene, in fact right here, and Martin cleaning his car, and Ryan's got this beautiful tracking shot. So that came in with that background. Then Dinesh with his 964, the C2 was backed in here as well, so very similar, but kind of like in that era-specific colours, Irish green, Guards red, look fantastic, sitting, you know, facing out, all on their own. All this junk, when it's all stripped away with the red and the grey, and now if I show you Ken's car, but he has the most amazing bright red interior and this grey car, and when I saw these two colours in this, it's like, that's a spot. And then back over here, you can see to my right where we've got all these pallets stacked, there's a very low shot that pushes in as well, and those pallets frame the shot as well. So that just looks, you know, perfect there. It's like a great setting for that car, I love it. Right here, there was lots of great laughter and there were people smiling, and you could see people greeting friends and chatting. There were families and kids, and I think it's a right around here where there's this young kid in a pram and he's got this little toy Targa, and he's just facing toward the camera, and then his mum sort of wheels him around and off they go. I've got this frame, so well, they put him in nose to nose, those two primary colours, so Nicholas's blue and Hugh's red, just stunning the way those two combine, and people took the shot that I imagined they would. So right now you're seeing a shot of the turbo and the cloud above it with Jim. This is where the little kid with his dad, the dad would frame up the shot, the kid would take the photo, and then Ryan's car has got it's half in, half out with this beautiful headlight, and then we can see the 959 behind it, and then there's the 968. So this lovely thing going, and for me, exploiting the site, you can see a bit of Scott's car, so right around that corner here, there's 4 cars featured, and then we get to this private parking, right, authorised only. I mean, I like this, there's a couple of shots of this 959, they're great. I like this one. It's in isolation, 2 boys just looking in, right? They're just admiring it, and they're probably looking at that stunning interior. But the next shot, which I like, is that the people who were the custodians of that car for the day, locking it. It's just kind of like, it's shot out of sequence, but I love the photo of the 2 boys, and then all of a sudden, better lock the car, just in case, you know, who knows. But it had this little spot all of its own, and had a lot of admiration as well, gorgeous car. But if I work down here, there's a few seagulls overhead. Actually, Matt, as you can see now, and he's kind of taking some bird poo or something off his own headlight of his car. I took a photo from there looking this way. But right behind where the camera is at the moment was where the 968 was. And then we had Henry's car here. So we've got the 968 there, and behind where we are at the moment is this. So these cross shots of these beautiful primary colours, just fantastic. And even, you know, bring in some of the overhead, some of the canopy from the trees and stuff, which were sparse but really useful for framing. As we approach Scott's car, there's video, there's photos. So there's video of a couple of people looking at it, and they're just talking, and they're probably weighing it up. Scott said, you know, you love it or you hate it. Well, you know, I don't know what people's opinion is, but it's certainly got a lot of attention. But there's another photo taken from the other, so there's a video going that way, but there's a photo coming the other way, and there's a guy down low, and he's kind of scratching his chin, looking at it. Looks like he's just not sure, making up his mind, but he's taking it all in, and that's what you could do. There was space. He's probably sitting about here. The photo's taken going that way, and he's just looking at the car going, do I like it or not? I don't know. Maybe he's just going, I love it. How much more can I admire this car? Lots of wonderful conversation going on here as well. But these two doors and the golf car, this is exactly what I had in mind. That's exactly what I had in mind. And it's just perfect, right? You can just see how those two colours match. Those little orange accents, they work with the rusty door on the left and the blue on the right and the pillars, etc. But what was interesting is that if you then truck around this way, you bring in some of that red as well. Now, if we go back to the door and this beautiful framing, like door, car, surfboard, but I love that shot, just in its simplicity, moving on to that Targa and peeping through and seeing that cat. But this one in particular, because it's mostly a purple car, but as it came out and got hit by the sun, it just changed to gold. So this is right at the end of the day and he's leaving, and one person minding their own business, but this thing's like on the prowl. Those headlights, just like, it is so stealthy and aggressive. That is such a killer shot, I love it. So along here, and with the bins removed, there was really great use made of this wall and where we put the Bastardo car. The bins are ugly, but if I step in here, this photo, and I'm going to wrap around the Bastardo car, but this is actually the mirror from the golf car, which is where we're standing, and then the Carrera RS is there. Steve's car's hidden, but along this wall, the Bastardo car, so almost where we are right now, but then going a bit further forward, using this brickwork and using the plants and everything else, and the person just standing there looking at it, which is David. But over you can see behind that is those two turbos as well. And if we go out here, you'll see it changes even more. And what was kind of amazing about this whole setup, but not a surprise, was that just by changing angles, you could get a whole different accent and a whole different perspective of a car. And that's what I was really hoping would happen as well. So in here, for example, we're getting a bit covered in, you know, there's overhead and there's tree, you know, it's probably as thick as it is in the whole place. So all this stuff makes for gorgeous drop downs into frames and stuff. And the Bastardo car was right here. So we've been looking at it from this direction, but when you then come and stand back about here and look back into the zone that we were at, it changes again.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling deep in my bones. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling deep in my bones.
So we've been looking at it and we've had the brickwork on the edge here, and here, obviously here's Scott's car and some people checking it out. Everything's in place. And then again, if we walk to our right and take an even wider shot, one of my favourite shots is this one. So there's nobody here, it's pretty early. And now we've got Ken's 9146 in shot as well. And that massive architecture that I wanted to see come into play is there. So as a standalone, it's a pretty cool shot, but bringing this other car in just looks so cool. So a whole lot of shots we just looked at of that single car, all from different angles, looking really cool. And there are a heap more. Right, going further, there's actually a lovely profile shot of Ken's car as well, which is one of my favourites as well. Up in this corner here, we just had this lovely thing going with these metallics and reds and complementary colours. So this whole setting was fantastic. So the 993, the arena red, and then the tobacco metallic again, and again shooting on the other corner and picking up Irwin's car against those with those pipes was just really, really cool. So if I swing over here, and you can see what we did. There was sticky tape that went over all of the artwork and the windows, and then there's a whole piece of black here, and then more tape over here. So we blacked out that whole space just so that wouldn't distract from that shot. Derek's car just looks fantastic there all by itself. Then this is the setting here for these two cars. You can see a bit of the 928 poking through as well, but the Cayman and the 924. And for me, what was really important about these two cars is this, and it's the badge, right? So this isn't a beaten up one, it's all, you know, curved and stuff. But if there's one of these on the hood of a car, then for me, they qualify for Art Noin. Art Noin on the website says, or AWE, air, water, everything. So engines, front, middle, back, air-cooled, water-cooled, all generations, all colours. It's not an elitist event, it's about everybody celebrating the cars. And again, if you've got one of these on the hood, or you've got one of the cars which has got a sticker on the hood because it's an RS model, or you've even made up your own little RS1, like the version that Flavio did, the silver one we're seeing right now, then that's all part of it, you know. So everyone qualifies. Tribute cars, outlaw cars, anything. And that's why we had a couple of special boxes that I should point out as well, you know, up there with the race cars. They are really critical to, I think, what the success is, because it's attainable and accessible for everybody. So we're going to the final zone. Jed's car reminded me of a vineyard with beautiful green and the red with that brick wall, which looks amazing. We had the 4RS next to it that most people looked at it and thought it was black. Here, the sun rises over here, and it was a really cloudy day, but I did know when the sun rose, it was going to hit that car. Now, just kind of like casting here, and all of a sudden people went, oh my God, that car's purple. I was trying to get this clean shot, and there were people in the way, but I sort of half knew who they were, so I said, hey, clear the shot. So I got this really clean shot of the car all framed up, and then out of the right, not knowing I'm taking a photo, comes Jackie, and she sort of struts in to this shot here, but she's got this amazing, you know, clothing on that complements the entire thing. Just walks in and goes, oh, what's wrong? Walks out, but you know, like any photographer, you're going click, click, click and getting it. This is the shot behind us, grey on grey. We've got beautiful rectangle, we've got a circle, we've got a bit of yellow highlight at the bottom, and it's right there. And that was one of the obvious ones for me as well. So that, and the very last shot is looking at the end here with these two 964 turbos. So on the right, Ferrari yellow, an ex-Craig Rayner car, and then Carlo's beautiful deep blue one as well, the metallic. But bringing that shot to life was our cameraman Ryan, who got a wonderful shot of Lee Turner just cycling around in his bright yellow and red gear. And I saw that shot and thought that's what it's all about. It's just fun. Hope this gives you a bit of an insight into what Art Noin was about and the theory and the thought that went into it. And hope you enjoyed it and you're looking to be a part of it in coming years.
At the bar, too drunk to sit. They're talking shit of what's been before. And the dancing girls, they twist and twirl. They sweat like beads of pearls, scattered before swine. Hold me